Hello everybody and welcome back to the medieval area in Camel Kingdom. It's already episode number 4 if I'm not wrong. And yeah, this episode will be very relaxing for me because I can totally go through all the comments you guys put down, or maybe not all but most of them, because this episode will only only is potentially the wrong word, but it will feature me filling in a lot of gaps, putting down a lot of foliage, and also starting to make the connection between this very building you can see now and the coaster station itself, because this is the entrance building and the station itself will then be featuring the queue itself, and this is the entrance only. But anyways, I'm going through some of your comments and also just to step into what we talked about last episode. So we talked a lot about the point of jettying, which is the kind of architectural style to build the second floor and or third floor wider than the actual lower floor or the ground floor, so to say. And it was a very interesting topic to talk about, and there are some comments regarding this, which I'm going to read out and answer, just because there's a lot of things we have to still talk about, which is pretty interesting, and I can't wait also for new stuff in the next couple of episodes to talk about. Because there's so much more about medieval architecture and in general medieval life, because while preparing for this area I had so many videos I watched about medieval. I mean, I already knew quite a lot because of history class and also because I'm very interested in the medieval time, and I mean there is the common belief that the medieval was a big step back in human history, which in a lot of ways is right, but also is completely wrong. The medieval time is very diverse in terms of what it delivered to humankind. But yeah, we're gonna talk about that more in later episodes, where we have already settled some talks about the architectural style and stuff. But anyways, let's go into some of the comments. First one is from Paulustris03. He said, "Roses are red, violets are blue. I love medieval architecture. Do you love it too?" Oh, this is a beautiful rhyme, isn't it? Yes, I do. I just wanted to quickly answer. Nice one. Then we have another comment from Michael. It's, I don't know why, but I'm getting Taron vibes. I know the building style from Taron and what you are building are completely different, but some of the buildings look a lot like them. Did you take any inspiration from Taron on this build? Well, I can't deny that there is potentially some influence in. I already talked about that in the first episode quite a lot. I do love Taron. I love the environment, I love the style of it, and it is very interesting. But don't get me wrong, there is also the thing that I want to step apart from Taron as much as possible, because it's basically not what I wanted to do. But my coaster's going through some of the roofs, and this is a medieval area, so naturally it does have a nice connection to it. So yeah, there is potentially some inspiration, but I want to step away from it as much as possible. Hopefully I'm gonna get there. Then we have another nice comment from a Blue Spirit. He said, "Personally, I wouldn't add a number a year to the right name, since Plague, Black Death, Pest, whatever you want to call it, one thing which happened multiple times throughout medieval times and also after that. Some were bigger than others and more spread out, but there were a lot of outbreaks through the history." Yes, you are obviously totally right, but I love the idea to say we are taking the year where it is first occurred. So the first time ever we had Black Death somewhere is potentially the name I want to choose, and I think there is no way of not doing it because of it was in different years. Obviously, yeah, but somewhere has to be a start, and if this is the number of the starting year, I think it's a great idea, and I'm gonna stick to this one because I love the idea actually. Well, then we have one very interesting comment is from, and this is a very long one. I don't know if I can read it out completely, but entirely. It's from Dusty Cube. I'm trying to read that out as quick as possible. Wait a second. He said, very interesting because it's a nice addition to what we talked about last episode. First of all, that opening shot, just wow. I came a little when I saw that. Ooh, naughty. Alright. Then he says, Another reason why people used jettying was to protect lower floors from the weather. Especially during the late medieval period, it became popular to build the ground floor out of stone. This was sturdier than timber, but also more expensive. Jettying protected the stone from the rain, which would otherwise eventually cause erosion, much like an overhanging roof did and still does today in a lot of architectural styles. Using a jetty, they could also still get a fairly large amount of living space on the timber floors, while saving costs with the smaller stone floor. As far as not being able to buy big areas of land goes, I don't really understand what you mean with they didn't want to increase the way from building to each other. I'm pretty sure the biggest reason for only being able to buy small pieces of land was that medieval cities were initially limited by their city walls. Being limited on space was another reason why jetties helped. Due to overhanging built inside of city walls, streets became more cramped as more as people built houses. At one point you couldn't expand your ground floor anymore since people still had to be able to use alleyways, but you could use an overhang to win more space without closing the whole street. Basically, yes, this is what I meant. To make it a little bit more obvious, by the way, a great comment that was. Basically, the big reason behind this is that if you want to build a bigger building, like if you have some money and you want a bigger building, you naturally buy a bigger area. But this wouldn't work if there is the government, or at least the lord who's holding, or who's the one running this area. In this ancient or the medieval era, you have just only had horses to get quicker from one area to the other. The other way to get somewhere is by foot, and this means also that you want to be very quick somewhere else. So they limited also the space you can actually buy as land, because if you would have bigger lands, this would also increase the way between buildings. And this is what I meant by they needed to keep that small, because actually you want to make sure that you can go from one house to the other in a decent amount of time without you know, running kilometers of pathways and alleys. This is totally true, and that's why they needed to buy smaller pieces of land which are closer to each other to maintain the close or the just very narrow areas where you can walk by feet to reach the buildings in time. So this is the idea I had behind this one, and also which has been explained in other videos. But there was also another interesting comment. I'm going to quickly search for it. Where is it? Where is this comment? Because nope, 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 nope. Oh, what? There's one other good one. It's from Timo Shearders, I guess. Now that you're talking about architectural parts, I noticed that the chimney isn't the highest point on the building. This should be the case, so smoke gets above the houses and just floats off with a small wind of sweep. Yes, basically that was a mistake. I need to make the chimney a little bit higher. Full stop. I can't find the unfortunately I can't find the comment right now, but somebody commented, and this was very nice, that the alleys or the little pathways between buildings had to be as wide as a horse with a how's this called? The thing behind the horse when you have stuff on it. Damn, I forgot the name. But that you can have a little horse way thingy, whatever thing it is called, go through the houses, and this makes perfect sense to me, because this also defines how wide a little alleyway in a medieval city had to be. So it's not that wide actually, and still they needed to maintain this little alleyway, which meant that they gained back the space they needed for their living on the second floor by making jetties. Basically this is it. And so we talked a lot about jetties again in this episode. Holy cow. Anyways, thanks again guys for all the amazing comments. I hope you guys can maintain all these comments, because it really is so interesting for me to read them all out, to read through them, to just, you know, sometimes I even go in and try to verify the comments, because if you guys bring up a point I can't answer, I want to know it, I just go and research it myself, and this helps. And if I get some good results, I'm gonna tell you those in our little episodes, which I think is a great way of interaction, and I hope we can maintain this. But yeah, so also there was a nice comment, I also forgot who it was, but I'm going to check that later. He said that a Nostradamus would also be a nice way to name things, because of his work as a doctor. Or he couldn't actually help people with Black Death, but he was there to help on another level. And I guess this is also a good idea for a flat ride, because this area will also feature 2 flat rides, potentially even 3, I'm not quite sure yet, but yeah, anyways. But yeah, what I wanted to say also is, as you can see here in the background, I'm going to connect this little area over here with the little bridge, and this bridge is also made fully custom, obviously, but I think it is a nice area behind this little entrance building, because it is very, very narrow. It will give a very nice vibe in the end, I can already tell you, because I'm, as I said, further away or further ahead in my episodes building in this area. But yeah, I think we should slowly come to an end in the commentary, because the episode is nearly over. I need to make the cut this time a little bit earlier than usually, because yeah, there is not much more to show, and the next one will be on a different area of this whole thing. But anyways, hope you liked this episode, guys. Let me know what you think of it, and you can still put down as many ideas as you want for buildings you want to see in here, or different topics of the medieval area we should talk about. Maybe there's something you want to know which you don't know yet, and I can make a little research and then talk about this in the next episode. So don't wait to talk and comment and whatever. And if you like this video, leave a like. As always, I would appreciate that. It always helps me out, and it is always amazing to read through all your comments. So have a good one, guys, and enjoy your day. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.